Hey, you busy? Mm-mm. Okay, let me run something past you real quick. I want to talk about all things TMI slightly. Now, let me go ahead and give you a disclaimer. And also, thank you for accepting the fact that my voice sounds like Barry White slightly because my son has been playing basketball and I've been doing all things mom screaming because that's what comes with the birth certificate. Duh. And yeah, that's how it gets down in these streets. So let's go ahead and move forward. TMI, feminine hygiene, aka Le Pew, uh, aka what's that smell? AKA when salamanders attack, aka the Ninja Turtle ooze, aka where's Evan Brockovich, McDonald's public bathroom massacre. Who didn't teach you how to wash there? What is going on under the sea, Ariel? Do you see my eye squinting? It's pretty much all the thoughts that come across my mind when I'm entering said public bathroom area and I'm just trying to figure out life. But past the LOLs, what truly got me on this topic is a little bit of a journey that I went through myself. And I decided, you know what? Who better else to share than you? Because at this point, I do feel like our friendship and our bond has gotten to the point that I can share some, a little bit of TMI. Listen, I've been doing real, real good, okay? We haven't really delved in a whole bunch of, ooh, wait a minute. Did she just say? We didn't do a whole bunch of that. So if this is the time that I feel like in my spirit, the Lord is leading me to do it, let's go ahead and just attack it, shall we? So I wrote a song about it. Here we go. When I was courting my husband, we were active members of the celibate ministry, okay? Me no kissing, no fondling, no touching, no loving, no licking, no sticking. You hear me, church? Okay. So we went ahead and did that. So along the ride, I kind of was like, no pun intended, I kind of was, being more in tune with my feminine hygiene and what's going on there under there and all of that, but with more of a tenacity because, wedding bed was going to be showtime. And I had to show him that he held out for the right thing. You don't want him unpacking the present and he feel like Santa left him some coal. Okay? Want to hit and unwrap that thing and feel like a 5-year-old on Christmas Day. Anywho, so went to get my regular checkups but I had her really digging a gold mine. If you see where I'm going with that, I was like, listen, I'm getting married. I need you to make sure that just get all in the crevice, look in, and just really scuba dive your situation and figure out life for me. I just want to make sure we're all clear because a part of our early stages in courting, we both went to go get tested, which I highly recommend because, you don't want to walk into any situations without any real clarity, especially if you've been Bobby Browning, humping around, prior to the person. And, you just want to make sure that everyone's on the same accord. So we went ahead and did that. Um, and part of that, the blood test and digging and all that different things. But I started noticing something, and I was trying to figure it out by myself. But I'm like, I think I'm gonna need a little bit of help. I started noticing that closer to my menstrual, I was getting more and more yeast infections. And, you know, I'm not a yeasty kind of girl. We not doing the bakery Dunkin' Donuts. The world don't run on my Dunkin'. Okay, that's not what I'm finna do. And so I was trying to figure it out. So I'm looking up things, and I started being more a little bit unveiled with some of my close homegirls, and I'm like, do you? And one of them was like, no, never really noticed a difference. I don't really. Some of them was like, yeah, every time around this time. That started going to coworkers like, let me ask you a question because I'm the type of person that if there's an epidemic going on with me, I am not about to be the only one trying to figure out life by myself. I need everybody. I need all hands on deck. We're going to have a roundtable discussion. I do not care if this is lunchtime. Real quick, let me ask you a question. Your vagina, ma'am. Can we talk about that now? No? After work? Is this just not the time right now or the day? Yeah, we need to go ahead and try to figure that out. So when I went to the GYN, I asked, I said, what is this thing like I feel like around my menstrual, or is it diet related? Is it? And the only thing that she was able to tell me was it's normal. Women get it. It can be caused by dietary, changes. It can be caused. So she was just pretty, I felt like there was no way to get from underneath this yeasty fairy. It was just ridiculous. And so I was being real, real careful. And I remember asking, because I had moved at that time, I asked the doctor prior to her the same thing. This one was a male doctor, so I felt a little different asking him about my whereabouts when he don't have the same zip code. You see what I'm saying? Okay, you caught that? Okay, cool. And so his thing was, women need to stop shaving. And I was like, I'm sorry. He was like, yeah, listen, grandma and, great grandma, they didn't have the issues that you women have now. You guys are stripping back the protective layer of hair. And he went into this whole imagery. And I was like, oh, so you want me to take it back to the Kunta Kinte? You want me to straight be, like, you just want me out here in these streets, like, embarrassed? No, sir. I have a reputation. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you. Listen, we on the side of the Lord. But you're not going to have me talked about in these streets. No, you're not. I don't care what you're talking about. Because I don't care how doctor you are, how many letters behind your name. You are not going back home and talking to your homeboys about how Kunta, my Kente was. No, you're not. Listen, you ain't that professional. And I'm not about to play this game with you. So he tried to go ahead and get me on the other side of the road. He's like, listen. So I was like, okay, so do you mean like no shaving whatsoever? Like straight out sharpened? Like, is that what we're doing? And he was like, well, you can take scissors. And I was like, you want me to take scissors to the... Mm-mm. I can't. So needless to say, she didn't take any of that advice because you are not my gardener, okay? There's a certain way I like my landscape, church, and I like to see the house. You feel me? We're not gonna just have weeds and stuff growing on the side of the house, and it's just like, oh, okay, that's natural. Just let the weeds do it. No, do something with those vines, sir, ma'am, both of y'all, okay? So fast forward, I remember going to the GYN and talking to her about, once again, the attack of the yeast fairy. And I'm like, is there a vitamin I can, like, what is going on? And so it was becoming so frequent. It was almost like you picked up the sanitary napkins, and then right next to it, the aisle, you'll see, the yeast infection stuff. So you just picking up a little bit of both. Like, you're a regular. They should just be like, oh, okay, that time of the monthly, like, yeah, go ahead and scan my stuff and keep it trucking. But this time was a little bit different because I knew that I wasn't sexually active. So I'm like, all the other times, for some strange reason, I've always kind of pieced together, well, maybe this has happened because I'm out here in these streets and this is my punishment for being out here in these streets, right? But when I was dating my now husband, I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, so why is this happening and I'm not Bobby Browning, Ain't nobody humping, nobody humping around. I wasn't doing any of that. So why is it happening now? And I remember that I tried to go get the over-the-counter. The over-the-counter wasn't working. I'm like, okay. Maybe it's an adult fairy this time? Maybe this, the baby yeast fairy was coming this before, but this time it's a little different. So then I had to call the doctor up. I'm like, hey, real quick, need you to prescribe me something. She's like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and give you the diflucan pill. Cool. Because, the creams can get messy and blasey and bluey. Awesome. Okay, great. Took the pill. It worked like a Flintstone vitamin. Nothing happened. I was like, okay. So she was letting me know, like, sometimes your body can build up an immunity to it. So we got to try to see which strand it is, because down there's already yeast there that is healthy. It only becomes unhealthy when the yeast is producing at a rapid rate. So I'm like, bruh, I need you to do something. The oven is hotter than usual, okay? And I don't have it on. So I'm trying to figure out life, and I need you to go ahead and help me. That caused me to have to go through Walgreens yet again. And this time it was a little bit different, because my then boyfriend, almost slash fiance at the time, was like, "Where are you?" Because you know how they do the welcome, and they put your business in the streets. Welcome to Walgreens. Like, shh, come on. Supposed to be incog. Like, you know, I don't need you out here just letting people know what I'm doing with my life. And so I was on the phone with my boyfriend, now husband, and he was like, "Where are you?" So I tried to muffle the phone real quick, like, yes, you know how they ask you in your name, "What are you here for?" So I tried to go ahead and give my government without him hearing. And he was like, "Where are you?" And I was like, hold on for a minute. Thinking that out of all the times he forgets stuff, that this will be one of the times. Maybe if I put him on mute for a little bit so I can finish my transaction, I'll come back on the phone. Boom, I'll bring up another topic. He won't remember. She's in the clear. Score! Hands in the air like I did a soccer goal. You understand? But it didn't work like that this time. I finished my transaction. I came back to the phone. I was like, "So," tried to change the subject. He was like, "Yeah, reverse. Hit me with the mean Uno card. Where are you?" I was like, I don't want to tell him. I don't want him thinking I'm dirty. I don't, I'm trying to impress the dude. I like him. But this time it felt a little bit different, because I'm like, well, he's heard me say, "I'll call you right back and get ready to take a shower." So I hope he doesn't think I'm dirty. But we haven't been doing anything, so I can't, be related to that. So I finally just was like, okay, I'm in Walgreens drive-through. Again, trying to piece it to him, because, I don't want the brother thinking I'm dirty. So even though I know that it's dietary and it's all these other different things, to me it equated to "you're dirty," and I didn't want him to know that. So I just hit him with the real simple, "I'm at Walgreens. Oh, by the way, remember when I said," he hit me with the Uno card again, "What are you in Walgreens for?" I was like, a medication. Funny thing happened yesterday, River. What medication? I was like, "Okay, bro, forget it. I'm just going to go ahead and be clean." I was like, "Okay, I'm going to say something." And this was part of my, vulnerability towards him, learning how to trust, hoping that he didn't throw this back in my face. Even though I know that wasn't his character, just something in the back of my mind was like, I hope that maybe one day by mistake he just don't be like, "Yeasty." I mean, that's not your name. Just because I've had a past where people said some foul things, and it was like, "I'm not gonna give you no ammo," kind of thing. That's how I lived my life. And so I finally was like, "Okay, listen, I'm trying to make sure that I'm right and ready when it's time, when we go ahead and do that thing, on the wedding day." And I just been noticing that she's not acting right. I don't know if she got the hiccups. You know, I don't know what's going on, but I've done everything that I've known to do, and it just keeps coming back on a regular, and this is not normal to me. And so I went through the whole thing about maybe it's related to dairy. I don't know. And I'm telling him, and he's quiet the whole time. So I'm sweating bullets. Okay, because I'm like, again, I'm trying to save the little bit of reputation that I do have with you, at the same time trying to be unveiled with you, because I plan on kind of possibly keeping you around for some time. And by the end of our conversation, it went much better than what I thought. He was like, "First off, let me start with this. Please don't hide anything from me, because then you limit how I feel I'm supposed to pray for you. If I don't know that you're going through something, or that you're struggling with something, then how am I supposed to cover you?" Let's go ahead and pause right there and give a hand clap of praise. Because who says that? Hence why him is my baby daddy. Why he is my daddy now. But anyway, It's a little bit of ghetto because I like him and that's how that goes. So I was like, okay. So I felt a little bit more comfortable. So he was like, so what's the next stages? Now, he was so engulfed in what I was saying that while I was talking, he was Googling stuff and he was like, did you try cranberry juice 100%? No. I was like, look at you trying to help me. That is so cute. But no, she's been drinking it. I might as well have an IV. It's just ridiculous at this point. So we went on this journey together of Operation Kill Fairy Yeasty. What is going on and why? Is it coming at a particular time of the month? Is it after you eat something? This, that, and the third. So then him encouraging me in that way and me no longer having to hide it, I felt like on top of the world. It was like, okay, now I can really just, clap my hands together, rub it in. Let's just go ahead and just find out what this is because I don't like not knowing something, especially if it affects me. No, there's no such thing as it affecting me and I'm not knowing. I'm not going to be ignorant toward me. That's ridiculous. So I went ahead and went on this crusade of all things research and finding. And guess what she discovered? Turns out that Kotex, Always, and all the brands that you see for the sanitary napkins in your local Walmart, Target, or wherever you get them, bruh, they have pesticides on their pads. I literally looked up the things that are on these pads, what they're made with, what kind of cloth, cotton, whatever, and the amount of chemicals. I was like, no wonder I'm over here baking on 450 broil. Wait a minute. And why hasn't anyone ever told me this? And as far as I'm concerned, I can think back, I think I've been getting yeast infections my whole life. To the point that when I was talking to most of my friends in high school, I was asking them, like, do you get that, like, ingrown hair, overgrown hair bump kind of thing? They was like, yes, it's so annoying. I try to pop it, but this, that, and the third, and it goes away. And so I started really reminiscing on like, oh my gosh, no one has ever really talked to me about you shouldn't feel burning down there, and this was prior to being sexually active. So I'm like, okay, time out. So I started doing more research, more research. Come to find out, the reason why they put these chemicals on these sanitary napkins, and don't even get me started with tampons because, okay, because my pressure was going up slightly because I got to just take a deep breath because I can't even imagine who sleeps at night knowing that they put chemicals in something that women stick in them internally and then say, you not connect the dots to why so many women are suffering with miscarriages, why so many women are having these, cysts on their ovaries and fibroids and all these other different things. No wonder grandma didn't have ovarian cancer and all these other different, time out, I gotta catch myself because I don't say cancer, I say zodiac, because that's just the truth I live by. But they didn't struggle with all these kind of, mama had 9 kids, bruh. Miscarriage on what? Miscarriage on who? The worst that they had was hysterectomy, and that was when they was 50 and 80 years old. It was like, all right, just come on. You used it well enough, ma'am. You did your good work. Go ahead and give it back to society. You're done. Okay? So, looked up all these different things that they put in these sanitary napkins, and the sole purpose, hate to be a conspiracy person, theorist, I'm not trying to be, but they do it so that you can bleed more. I started talking to friends. I'm like, do you use the whole pack of pads? They was like, yes, sometimes I bleed through. And then at night, I got to put towels underneath me, especially the first day I bleed super heavy. And I'm like, bro, that's not normal. Because the research that I'm showing, they're saying you're not supposed to bleed more than like a couple of tablespoons per day. And it's not supposed to last 7 and 10 days, which was a regular for me. It was normal for me to go pick up 2 packs of pads real quick just for one session. Ridiculous. And then you ever notice how cheap it is? Like $3, $4. Like you can get a mean 48 pack for like under $5. And so I'm like, okay, so if they expect for you to only bleed this much for this many days, then what's the answer? Came across the gold mine. There's a company called, and I like to go ahead and so that you can remember it. Think of the word real, REA, like I'm real, J-Lo, I'm real, but switch the A and the E. So the spelling is RAEL. I found this gold of a gem. God bless the Holy Spirit for leading me to it, because I can't say I was smart enough to learn it by myself. And I was reading the reviews, and women were like, oh my goodness, since I switched over, I haven't had any yeast infections. I haven't had, those little boil things, ingrown hairs. I haven't had the smells. I haven't had this. My GYN wasn't able to lead me, so I had to find it by myself, and this, that, and the third. So I was like, oh. Well, let me go ahead and find out what's going on with your girl. Like, let me get a little sample of that, because prior to that, I was told, change your detergent. It could be the detergent, it could be your soap, and I'm like, how? I've been using Dove my whole life. Like, what do you mean? Oh, it could be your food. It could be. So at this point, I was just like, I'm gonna try a little bit of everything. Ordered these pads, life changing. Again, RAEL. And it was important to me to find this out because, yes, I understand that everybody that I talk to is not female, but everybody that I talk to knows a female or has a daughter or has a niece or listen, grandma. Listen, you understand where I'm going with that? Like, this is a ripple effect gold mine, in my opinion. And so went ahead and ordered it. Upon the first open up, I was like, that's odd. I don't smell that smell, like that chemically kind of, oh, it's your period kind of thing. When I opened up Always, I smelt it. It was very chemical bound. So I went ahead and, a little bit more TMI. Here we go. You ready? Buckle up. I touched it with my finger and noticed like this greasy film. And I'm like, what is that? So, TMI a little bit more. I called my husband in because if you're going to go ahead and help me, we're going to do this together as a family. And he was still my boyfriend at that time. And I was like, quick question. What do you see here? And he was like, first, I know that smell. Whew, I can always tell when a pad is being opened. I was like, right. Can you touch the Always? I hate to go ahead and do this to you, but can you touch it? And he touched it, and he kind of like, you take your thumb and your pointer, and he was like, what's that? And I was like, right. I opened up the other pad, the Rio. That's how I'm going to pronounce it. I don't know. I opened up that one, and I was like, do that to this one with the other hand. And he did it, and he was like, nothing. I said, smell the Always one. He was like, yeah, chemically. I said, smell this one. He was like, nothing. I don't smell anything. I was like, is that the reason that we've been burning and doing the Usher album down there? And he was like, maybe so. I tried this thing for one session, aka one monthly cycle. Bruh. First of all, my cycle was way shorter. Way shorter. Not my typical 7 to 8 days, more like 4 to 5. On top of that, my spillage was way lighter. Way lighter. Wasn't no overflow. Wasn't the extracurricular where you like, ooh, I got to bring. I didn't even, as a matter of fact, I believe in the pack comes 24. I didn't even, and it comes like in two. So 12 in one pack, 12 in the other. I didn't even use the whole 12 for one session. So I was like, okay, I think I'm on to something. Went ahead and looked up some other stuff that helps out during your cycle, whatever the case may be. Found these vitamins in Walmart, magnesium, calcium, zinc pills. Green bottle, yellow top. Took that, I think you have to take 3 a day. Took that within 10 days of my cycle and on my cycle. When I say it's a whole new world, Ariel, whole new world, whole new world, Ariel. I was going to try to sing it, but I remember the Barry White, the tonage I wasn't going to hit that octave. I was going to try, but this wasn't going to work. Whole new world. I was like, wait a minute. So it made me want to go back to Walmart and just kind of, peruse the sanitary feminine hygiene streets. And I noticed something. The same people who make the Always, the Kotex, they also make the diapers for, incontinence. And so I was like, wait a minute. Then I noticed, y'all real close in proximity on the stock up with the yeast infection, blah, blah, blah. So here's my conspiracy theorist behind it. Hate to do it, but I feel led to. I feel like, you know, we know that sickness and all that stuff is $1 billion business, right? I feel like these people are purposely doing what they're doing with these pads so that you can go ahead and go right next door to the, a couple of feet down in the same aisle, get you your yeast infection stuff, to go ahead and have it where you're so immune. Now you need to go ahead and call your doctor because your body has built up a resistance to the over the counter. So now you need something a little bit stronger. And it's like, guess what? You a guaranteed customer because you're going to get this thing every month. You see what I'm saying? Mind blown, sir, ma'am. And so, spoiler alert, since I switched over to this pad and these pills, I have never had another bacterial infection, another yeast infection, anything associated with infection, and your girl down under, the relationship has been dissolved. Praise God on high. And it has to be coupled with those vitamins because I have had it where I've just gone ahead and gone the pads, and that works in itself. But if you really want the cramps taken away, the mood a little bit under control during that time, like it really is just that combination of the magnesium, calcium, zinc pills. If I got to post it on my IG, just go ahead and remind you. The combination of that and then the pads, the RAEL, you are going to thank me for your lifetime. I don't care if you can't swallow pills, you're going to learn today. Okay? You would be like, oh, why didn't I know this before? I don't know. I don't know why they didn't teach us. Out of all the things that they can teach us, why nobody didn't say, quick question, especially the doctors. So you know what I did because I'm a teacher at heart. I went back to the GYN, I just want to check up real quick. I want to talk to you about Life K. Great. And I went ahead and schooled her to the point that she took out paper and pad and she was like, oh my goodness, I've never heard of this. They don't teach us this in school. And I'm like, can you spread the word? Do I need to get a milk carton real quick and stand up on this corner street with the bullhorn and let these people know what's going on? And so I told her, please spread the word because I am more than convinced that the reason why people are struggling with infertility, or part of the reason why, and I strongly believe it, with infertility, the zodiac that's happening down there, all the different things, and then as we grow and modernize, you got more people who are waxing, more people who are shaving. So now it's seeping in all those pesticides and chemicals that they're putting on the pad is seeping into your pores, but more people are wearing tampons. So now what gets more into your body than an object with chemicals inserted in your body for several hours consistently for consecutively with days in? Listen, I'm getting so baffled. I'm choking up, and do you see what I'm going with this? Like, this has to be highway robbery somewhere. It's ridiculous. So my challenge to you, because you know what these conversations are, life-provoking conversations. I want you to go ahead and share this with people. I want you to go and do your own research. Don't take my word for it. If you don't trust me, listen, I know we close, but maybe you like, let me just look up real quick. The chemicals and the things that's on this stuff is ridiculous. It really is. And you going to put these on our babies? Girls are getting their period as early as 9, 8. So y'all getting them from young. AKA guaranteed customers for the yeast infection owl. You see what I'm going with that? And then you still catching them with the elderly folk because if they're wearing a diaper, they going to get a yeast infection too. It's like, oh my goodness. No one has cracked the code yet? Not to worry. God got me on the job. Call me 0077 because that's what we finna do. Listen, together we're going to change the world. I pinky promise you. And I know this wasn't your regular TMI. I ain't want to make it, fishy. We wasn't going the aquarium route. I just want to make it where we're healing each other. Each one teach one, old school style. You see what I'm going with that? And then another little tidbit, which I learned from one of my friends, which again, why didn't anyone teach me? She taught, or she was taught by her mother, and it was passed on, and she taught me that in between pad changes, go ahead and get like a little bowl or a cup of warm water, whatever you feel comfortable with, and do a little washeroo on the toilet, pat, and then change your pad. That way, you're making sure that it's a clean application every single time. I promise you, since I put all those three things together, the washing real quick with a bowl and the cup. I asked her what she does when she's out and about, and she was like, "Girl, I'll bring a Poland Spring bottle with me. I'm not playing." I was like, you know what? I'm with it. I'm absolutely with it. So doing the washeroo, doing the RAEL patch switch, and taking the magnesium, calcium, zinc pills. To this day, I do those three. She has been the healthiest she's ever been down there. GYN's looking at me like, wow. And every time that I go, I'm like, you telling people? And she's like, as many as I can. Because even the GYN said she just tells her patients it just comes with the territory. It comes with your monthly cycle. No, it doesn't have to be your norm. You don't have to be embarrassed. You don't have to, because the Monistat over the counter yeast infection creams, the one day is too strong. It's like you pouring mouthwash down there. It's too much. The 3-day is, it doesn't work. She literally said she recommends 7-day. Who want to be 7 days out of commission? No, nobody want to do that. So again, my challenge to you, do your own research. But don't say she ain't tell you. And I want to challenge you to go ahead and share this with other folks so we don't all have to be, in these frame broiled streets. Don't nobody want to be sitting on the grill. Okay? Can't be ladylike if you're scorching. All right, well, you can't cross your legs. I'm telling you, I tried it. It don't work. I don't care how pretty your shoes are. But change what you've been doing. And let's just go ahead and put to shame this whole thing about the billion-dollar business and pharmacy and sickness and blah, blah, blah. Let's go ahead and take our own health by the reins. Save somebody's daughter. Save somebody else's, child. Do what you need to do, but first it starts with us, and it starts with knowledge. That's why the Bible says, my people perish from a lack of knowledge. I don't want us to perish from that. My closest people, almost all my friends have daughters. And it's ridiculous. Can we change this one situation at a time? Okay? Whew. I'm glad I got that off my chest because I've been carrying that for some time. And speaking of chest, I know you're probably still waiting for the whole mammogram update and results. I don't have that yet. But I still feel like I want to have conversations with you, and I don't want to hold off only until I get my results. So until I get everything, I think what I'm going to do is just give you a little reminder at the end, and then go ahead and just give you a full-blown conversation when that time comes. I want to give it its proper stage, okay? But I feel like you got what you needed. You know what the challenges are. You know what these conversations are. You got all that. As my good nanny says, all right. I ain't going to hold you. Go ahead and kill the yeasty fairy. Torture. Do what needs to be done, okay? I'm going to call you back later. Later.